Hello everyone. Today we have Mr. Akshay Ghulati, co-founder and CBO of Shiprocket. Welcome Akshay. Thanks for taking out your time. So before we move on, just a quick introduction to the audience, like what your role exactly is in Shiprocket and what all structure do you handle?
Thanks, Akash. Thanks for taking the time to do this short discussion with me. So I'm the Chief Business Officer at Shiprocket, and basically that's just a very fancy title to say that I'm in charge of all the customer-facing functions in the company. So from customer service, account management, marketing, sales, all of these functions roll into me. And basically my job is to make sure that our customers are satisfied with the services that we provide.
Great. Thank you so much, Akshay. So, quickly moving on to our first question. So, post-lockdown, Shiprocket has done two big e-commerce summit, right? So, would you like to share some insights from those?
Absolutely. So we did two events. We did Shiver and we did the Shiver Edition 2, which was our festive edition earlier in September. And the idea behind both of these events was basically to provide an informational platform for all people who are looking at e-commerce selling now. The COVID and the pandemic has really changed the way people function and the way retail functions specifically in our country. And a lot of people are now trying to go online for the first time. The focus behind our first event was just bringing a lot of partners together who enable people to sell online, whether it's creating a website, helping with marketing, or like Shiprocket helping with their logistics. And that's what we wanted to do, tell people what all tools, platforms, and services are out there. Shiver Festive Edition was more a platform for sellers to learn what all they need to be aware of before the big spike in demand comes in the festive season this year, because we expect that given the pandemic, a lot more people will be buying online than they normally do. And online sellers need to be ready to be able to cater to this demand. I think both the events went off really well, and I hope we were able to add some value to our sellers' journey.
Right, Akshay. So what opportunity do you see in the upcoming festive season for the existing sellers as well as the sellers who are planning to go online for the first time?
Oh, I think it's going to be a tremendous opportunity this year, more so than in any other festive season we've had before, because of the people don't really want to go shop offline right now. They're still very scared about the pandemic. Cases are at an all-time high. So more and more people will do their Diwali gifting online. Probably for the first time, we'll see an influx of new customers. And what sellers need to be able to be prepared for to take advantage of this opportunity is they have to be well prepared in terms of stocking their items, making sure that they have the relevant workforce to be able to ship these items timely, because the most critical thing in online selling is that you need to be able to dispatch your orders very, very quickly. That increases the chances of success in terms of the order being delivered to the customer. It also reduces the chances of an RTO, which is an order coming back and not being accepted by the customer. These are problems you don't really face in an offline business, because the customer enters your store, they buy the goods, and they leave. So there's this time frame and this time lag between the order being placed and the item being received is not there. So people who are selling online for the first time need to be aware that getting the product out within 24 to 48 hours after the order is placed is critical to that order being successfully delivered and the customer actually being happy. You have to take into account that we're all living in COVID times, and in these times, orders are taking longer to get to customers. So the more that you can do to be able to shorten that time frame from your end, the better chances that you have that the order gets very quickly to your customer.
Great suggestion for all the sellers, Akshay. So we know that logistics has always been a pain point for all the online sellers. So how is Shiprocket getting ready to help these sellers during the festive COVID time?
Yeah, festive COVID time. That's a new phrase that has come into our vocabulary this year. Shiprocket, we've been preparing for the last 3 to 4 months for this particular period, because festive season anyways is a huge challenge for logistics companies. And this year in the COVID era, it's going to be even bigger and even more challenging for all logistics partners to be able to deliver goods on time. Basically, what we at Shiprocket have done is we've prepared ourselves in 3 very different areas. The first is in working with our courier partners to be able to get the capacity online so that our sellers can take advantage of shorter delivery timelines. We work very closely with partners to let them know the kind of demand that we're expecting so that they're able to do the pickups on time. So for example, in a normal day, which is a non-festive period, you might have 100 pickups or 1,000 pickups being generated. We expect that to be 2 to 3x during the festive time. So the courier partner has to have enough field agents to be able to go pick up these items from the sellers. So we work with our courier partners to do this demand planning well in advance so that our sellers face as few challenges as possible. The second thing that we've done is we've ramped up our entire customer care service center. So just for context, before COVID, like before the lockdown happened in March, we had a customer service center of about 40 to 50 people. And we're now at over 100 people, expecting to ramp up to 150 people in the next few days. Because there are going to be a lot of seller queries that are going to come to us during this time. No matter how well you prepare, there are always challenges. Even in different parts of India, we still see lockdowns happening. So getting an answer to a seller and telling them that we're working on their problems and working to address their issues is basically the first step in customer satisfaction. Because if you don't pick up the phone from your customer, they're not going to be very happy. And a lot of first-time sellers especially get very, very antsy and anxious when their parcel doesn't move for a few days, or if the tracking drops, or if the item gets RTO'd. So we need to be able to handhold them through this process. So in the last few months, not only have we had a record number of people joining the Shiprocket family, our seller base has grown 3x in the last 6 months. But at the same time, the number of challenges that are out there in the logistics space have grown manyfold. For example, if 1 out of 100 deliveries used to have some sort of a challenge, today that number is probably 3 to 4 deliveries. That's a 3 to 4x increase in problems that are faced in each and every delivery. So ramping up a call center has been a very important part of ensuring customer satisfaction. And last but not the least is empowerment. So my customer service agents, my team leads, my managers are all empowered to take decisions in the benefit of the customers. So for example, a lot of times, well, I shouldn't say a lot of times, in a few cases, items get lost by the courier partners. Sometimes they get lost in the warehouse, sometimes they get lost in transit. And obviously, as an individual seller, people get very anxious. They're like, we've sent a parcel out, it could be worth 500, 800 rupees, and that parcel has gone missing. Courier partners take their own time to be able to locate these parcels and ship them back to the customers, or declare them lost and then eventually reimburse the customers. We at Shiprocket try to do this process much more quickly. We take the loss ourselves in the interim if we have to and get reimbursed by the courier partners later. At least this helps us ensure a smoother customer journey. We never had to do this, honestly, pre-COVID times because the process used to work fairly smoothly. It used to take 30, 40 days and parcels used to get marked lost. Our customers used to get reimbursed. Today, that cycle has gone to 60 to 90 days because a lot of times, and I can't blame our courier partners because sometimes the parcel just gets lost in their warehouse or it's placed somewhere in their warehouse. They're also dealing with unprecedented demand. So we have to be able to be the champion of the small seller and be able to give these refunds, this customer service back to our customers so that they can actually continue on with their business. Because while 100 lost parcels in a month may be a very small percentage for Shiprocket, if you are a seller who does 100 parcels and one of them gets lost, then it's a big deal. So these are the kind of procedures we're taking, processes rather, that we're implementing this year to be able to have a very good and smooth festive season in terms of logistics.
So thanks for sharing the insights, Akshay. Now we have with us Mr. Vishesh Khurana, co-founder Shiprocket. Welcome, Vishesh.
Hi Akash, thank you.
So Vishesh, a quick introduction about your role and responsibilities here at Shiprocket.
So Akash, at Shiprocket, I take care of seller acquisition and other growth initiatives at company's end.
Okay, so Vishesh, quickly moving to the question, how has e-commerce industry evolved during the COVID times? And are there any specific changes in trends that you have noticed?
So I think the e-commerce industry has grown way beyond expectations post-COVID, and for all obvious reasons. I think with the offline retail shut, the only way to get products delivered was e-commerce and online channels, and getting products delivered was no more a luxury but a necessity to avoid contacts and other community spreads of the virus. I think the trends that we are seeing post-COVID are on sales side. A lot of patterns in categories have changed. Now people are ordering more of the necessities than other luxury items. So driven towards more of a necessary items like daily needs than luxury items like lifestyle and other fashion products.
Great. So Vishesh, you have been from an e-commerce background and now you're running a logistics company successfully. What challenges do you see are there in the market for the new seller as compared to the big brands?
So I think the primary challenge a new seller will face is getting enough traffic on their website and converting that traffic into meaningful orders. And also lastly, there's a very big challenge of getting people to reorder from yourself. A lot of this depends upon the service of the customer. So for new sellers, my suggestion would be focus on customer service, focus on customer communication. Make sure customers know the status of the order post they have ordered. And also ensure that if customer is asking for a return, always ensure that you are willing and accepting returns, because that's how e-commerce functions, and trust built in an e-commerce environment.
Okay, Vishesh. So that being said, we know being online is one thing, but being on the right platform and choosing the right marketing strategies is what makes you a brand. So what's your take on this?
I think Akash, platform is of utmost importance, because depending upon what platform you choose to run your online website, your website performance depends on it. So choose a popular platform for which enough support is available. Choose a platform that has enough features for your growth journey. And on marketing side, I think strategies have to be very, very carefully defined. As a small brand and a new seller, I'm sure everyone has limited budgets in initial days. And every penny you spend, you would want that penny to be converted into an order or a meaningful revenue. So my suggestion on marketing strategies and channels would be always select one just channel in the beginning. That could be Instagram, for example. Spend money on one channel, focus your energies on one channel, learn from your mistakes, and eventually, once you know what's working for you, and then you move to and locking onto a channel. So you actually do it one by one, starting from Instagram, do it for a couple of weeks, move on to Facebook, do it for a couple of weeks. That is how you compare the data and you know which channel worked for you better than the other.
So Vishesh, what would be your final suggestion and tips and tricks for the sellers to make this festive season a successful one?
So my suggestions to all sellers would be prepared for an extensive demand that is coming your way. Have enough stock in place. Have enough staff in place. Make sure your orders are packed and shipped on time. Also, make sure your packaging quality is of good quality. The packaging material that you're using, it should be good enough to sustain all kinds of damages while shipping. Also, make sure you are in touch with your customers. Make sure this is the right time to acquire customers and make sure they convert into a repeat customer. So I think all in all, I think its only suggestion would be prepared for an increase in demand and also be prepared for gaps in logistics and supply chain. So when you ship an order, make sure your customer knows and are prepared for any kind of delays during the supply chain and order delivery process.
Thanks, Vishesh, for the insights. Hope you all enjoyed our video. Do let us know whatever your feedback is in the comment section. Do like our video, and till the time we meet next, hope you all have a successful festive season ahead.